The ballots have been delivered, and Canadian Conservatives are prepared and getting ready to select their new leader. Now, there has been some controversy. Patrick Brown is on the ballot, but out of the race. He's challenging it, but there's really no challenge. What's going on here? What's the latest on the Conservative race? I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Brian Lilley and Jamil Jivani. Okay, Brian, I know that there's some confusion because Patrick Brown's name is still on the ballot. People can still vote for him, but then those ballots will be discounted. What's happening here? The vote's coming up in September, correct?
Yeah, you've got to have your ballot back into Deloitte by September 6th, and the winner will be announced on September 10th. So, yeah, Patrick Brown's name's still on there, but if you vote for him, and let's say you put him first, well, whoever you pick second is going to get that first ballot vote. I've heard from some people saying they're going to vote for Patrick Brown as a joke, or they just want to make sure that Brown is ahead of Jean Charest. They're not going to release those numbers. And I really don't think that's where the majority of Canadians are. Those are hyper partisan people that want to go after someone or supporting somebody else. But look, Stephen Harper endorsed Pierre Poilievre this week. It's tough to see how Jean Charest turns this around. He always had a narrow path to victory. It became a bit more narrow this week. Given the complex nature of the system, I don't think we can say that it's 100% over. It is a weird voting system. It's incredibly complex, but it looks like it's Pierre Poilievre's to lose, and we'll just wait to see until September 10th.
I agree with the assessment. It's Pierre Poilievre's to lose, Jamil. And just recently, he put out an ad. You know, Pierre is incredibly good on social media front. He's very good at communicating a message. He put out an ad from his or a video from his hometown in where he grew up in Alberta. His brother and him planted this tree, and it was just him walking down the street, talking to Canadians, just like a normal person. You know, him dealing with the same struggles that they are. You know, we talk about that empathy or compassion chip that the Liberals are missing. That was one of the best political ads I've seen, and I can compare that to what we've seen in the U.S. and those are some of the best. But that it was so authentic, and it was very honest, and I think a lot of people can see that, even if you're not going to support the Conservatives in the next election, go, okay, this guy's kind of speaking my language. He gets it. Um, he's now sort of embroiled in his own controversy with the party because he said he's not going to participate in this latest debate. Does that even matter at this point, Jamil?
Well, I think both Pierre and Leslyn Lewis have decided not to participate, in part because a lot of people have their ballots and they've already made their decisions, and they don't think that it's worthwhile at this stage. I think also, if you're someone like Pierre, as you said, Adrian, such an effective communicator, has built a tremendous following on social media. Is it better to just use that time that would go to preparing for a debate and participating in a debate to just talk to the almost 700,000 party members who are actually going to be making the decision here? That is the really important part of, I think, understanding the leadership race at this stage. It's a closed universe of Canadians who are making this decision. They've
Mhm.
already signed up. They've already paid their membership fees. We're talking about 675,000 people. And those are people for, someone like Stephen Harper making an endorsement is a huge deal. I still think he's probably the only politician who can speak persuasively and effectively to the entire Conservative coalition all across the country, including Alberta, including Quebec, including Ontario. And I think that Pierre getting that endorsement really is a big game changer in terms of people's confidence. A lot of the criticisms of Pierre have come from trying to make him into some kind of uncertain variable. We don't know how he'll govern. We don't know how he'll communicate. We don't know how he'll speak. We don't know what he's going to do in this leadership role. And I think his videos, like you mentioned, Adrian, that talk about where he comes from and what he believes in, really do cement him with voters as someone who's relatable and not so uncertain, not so much of an unknown. And then Stephen Harper endorsing him just cements that even further. So I think beyond it being Pierre's to lose, I think he's actually in a strong position right now, not just to win, but also perhaps to provide some of that unity he's criticized for not being able to provide, just through strength and through leadership, and showing that he's a guy who can take the Conservative movement back to Ottawa.
Okay, last question to both of you, Brian.
Mhm.
September 10th, new leader is elected. What's the first thing that he or she needs to do?
Bring the party together. That's always what you need to do after a leadership race, because there's always different factions. You need to stay together because you need all parts of a coalition to win, especially the Conservatives. Because of the way their coalition's structured, they can't have breakaway groups. So Pierre's got to, maybe he doesn't bring in Jean Charest, but he's got to reach out to Charest supporters and make them feel welcome in the party, as opposed to doing what I keep hearing in my inbox, in social media postings from people saying, no, we have to purge the party. You do that, you're going to stay in opposition. And they've got to show the rest of Canadians the Pierre that was in that video that you talked about. That's the Pierre that I've known for close to 20 years, a great communicator, an affable person. He needs to show that Pierre, not the guy with the sharp elbows and the sharp edges that will turn off the swing voters. I keep saying, if you don't win swing voters in Canada, Conservatives don't win, because the coalition isn't big enough. So you can't scare away people that are on the edge about you. You got to, if they see that Pierre, he wins.
Jamil?
Yeah, I think it is important to communicate with swing voters, but part of how you do that is you have a base of supporters who are enthusiastic and passionate about you and will go and speak on your behalf and talk to their neighbors and talk to their cousins. So part of what I think the winner needs to do, whether it's Pierre or someone else, is make clear that we are moving as a movement, as a group of people who've come together during this leadership race and now need to work together to win over the rest of the country. But if he does the same things that we saw Aaron O'Toole do, which is basically make the base feel like they've already played their part, now they can go and sit on the sidelines while he focuses on getting endorsements from former Liberal MPs, like that approach is not going to work, because everyone who bought those memberships and got excited to vote for Pierre and vote for the other leadership candidates will feel like they're not needed anymore, and they will fall back, and all that passion and enthusiasm will dissipate. So I think he needs to make everyone feel like he needs them and that we need to work together as a movement and not just look up to one politician to solve our problems. That type of hierarchical one politician savior model, that's what Justin Trudeau does, and we need to offer something different.
And each of the campaigns is going to have to put their weapons down and remember who the real political opponent is. Log on to Facebook and Twitter. Let us know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.